Hello and welcome to the conversation. You're with India Post Live, and we bring you the Cricket Caravan along with Wisden. This is a show about cricket, and what we are going to show you today is the weekend review of the two matches that happened. To discuss more on this, we have with us Chetan Sharma, former cricket team player and a star. You can see him on TV studios across the country, and of course, one of our popular experts, Raman Banod, joins us in the studio. We also have Anand Vasu of the Wisden joining us on Skype from Bangalore. I'll start with you, Chetan sir, first. I mean, as far as the let's talk about the Chennai versus Bangalore match that happened in Ranchi. The wicket, I mean, it was a wicket made for spinners. Did Dhoni go somewhere wrong? You know, he gave the over to David Hussey. He gave the last over to David Hussey, and that's where the match went wrong.
I think so. It was sort of a miscalculation by Mahendra Singh Dhoni, which you hardly see in Indian cricket. When Mahendra Singh Dhoni is on the ground, I hardly see any miscalculation. It was definitely a miscalculation, because when you have a player like Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja, tailor-made wickets basically for spinner. I think so. If Ashwin can bowl the last over of Asia Cup, where Afridi got him 6 and won the game, why can't he would have bowled here? I think so. It was a miscalculation, and which Dhoni will definitely regret it, and definitely RCB, because they wanted points. But Chennai at this point looks to be cleared in first 4, and RCB needed the win, and they got this win, and they must be thanking Mahendra Singh Dhoni for miscalculation.
Raman, I mean, was it overconfidence?
I think if you look at playing David Hussey for this match, he was unleashed as the surprise weapon by CSK. Just the way CSK have gone about their, planning for this tournament and how they've executed things. In the top 5 run scorers for IPL 7, 2 of the batsmen are from CSK. You've got a Dwayne Smith there, and you've got a Brendan McCullum in that list as well. So 2 of them have been firing, and aggregate runs have been coming from them. It's the middle order that hasn't, with the barring Suresh Raina, who's looked comfortable against spin. He's looked comfortable in his outings there. But you wanted somebody, in the lower middle order, where they said, okay, David Hussey is the man who can do the damage for us. And they got him in. And Hussey can be a very effective spin bowler as well. I think Dhoni expected Hussey to deliver the goods. I think so, because, Hussey a lot of times has bowled under pressure in death overs as well, and he's got that pretty typical round arm kind of bowling style where he can bowl flat and with the ball turning square. Dhoni thought that might not be a bad option. It didn't fire. Hard luck for CSK, but I think they could afford a mistake like that. As Chetan said, pretty much through to the to the last eliminator stages, they could have afforded it.
Okay, Anand, to bring you into the conversation, I mean, David Hussey has not had much of bowling in the recent past. So, I mean, what would you do if you were in place of Mahendra Singh Dhoni?
Well, I think Dhoni is often accused of being a very negative captain when it comes to Test cricket and conservative in one day. But in 2020, he's willing to take risks. As Chetan sir said, this one didn't come off. I mean, it was a miscalculation of sorts. But unless you take risks in T20 cricket, I don't think you can consistently win either. And Dhoni has shown that he doesn't mind taking those risks. And given that his team are quite comfortable on the points table, I suppose this was a chance where he could take that risk. It didn't work on the day, clearly. And now when we look back at it, we can say that it was a miscalculation. But I'm sure he thought that Hussey would deliver, and he didn't on the day.
Okay, we're talking about the same match. I mean, Chris Gayle, he sort of played an innings that, if you didn't look at his face, you wouldn't know it was Gayle batting. I mean, when are we going to see the fireworks of Gayle happening?
I think when he started off, after he missed the first few games, everybody was saying that, he's struggling with that hip, and he's not 100%, and he's taking injections for his pain. So that was the problem, and slowly he would find his feet, he would get his rhythm. But we've not seen any evidence of that so far. I mean, the way Gayle has structured his innings through this tournament is to start quite slowly, and then once he gets a good measure of how much the ball is turning, whether it's swinging, seaming, then he goes after the bowling. But because he gives himself that cushion first up, if he doesn't go on and play 40, 50 balls and make up the early scoring rate, then he lands his team in a very, very difficult situation after that.
Okay. Chetan sir, I mean, Chris Gayle, he's been one. Raman has been pointing out in our previous conversations that they've relied too much on those 4-5 batsmen, the RCB's team, and Chris Gayle. What would your advice be to him?
He looks injured. If you're not 100% fit, I don't think so you can perform. This is, as a cricketer, I can tell you the thing. It's absolutely true. And this is what we are listening now, because you can't take, Chris Gayle can't take 40 balls and get 40 runs. I always say, because I was on the commentary panel a few days back, and I was saying, Parthiv Patel, Chota Gayle, So for me, Parthiv Patel will be more comfortable I'm with, instead of if somebody comes in, he can be Gayle. He got a big name, but if you got a big name, you have to deliver it. The RCB wants a Gayle to deliver it from the top. Then they got De Villiers, and then Virat Kohli and Yuvraj Singh. They got a huge team on cards. I think so. One of the best sides in IPL. I thought my money was on from day one on RCB. The way they played cricket, I think so. The onus goes on Gayle. I think so. If I have to come up, not like in cricket, you don't blame anybody, but if I have to finger out a player because of whom RCB is in this position, and that will be Gayle.
Raman, coming to you, I mean, we've heard lots about cricketers hiding their injuries and stuff. Do you think here it's the other way around? Perhaps management put pressures on players to still play even if they're injured?
I think that's a very interesting point that you're making here. But knowing the way Chris Gayle is, I think it'll be very difficult to force him to play. I can assure you, not too many people in the dressing room or otherwise are going to come around and say play when he's not fit enough. So on a lighter note, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
But what I would say is, I remember a couple of shows ago, I was talking about RCB, and I said this, that they've planned their batting lineup in a way that they've got a couple of big impact players. Gayle is one of them. Yuvraj is another. Virat and AB de Villiers, of course, have been pulling their weight. AB de Villiers a whole lot more than some of the others. But I feel now, since they are in the top 4 at the moment, it's precarious because it could be there could be a slip between the cup and the lip. But if they make it from here on, their planning is very simple. They wanted Yuvraj to fire in about 6 odd games. Gayle might come good now. I think he might not have scored as briskly as we would have liked Gayle to score in the last game, but realized it was a track that was very spin friendly. He dug his heels in and he made sure he didn't gift his wicket away. So he stayed there, kept one end up. That partnership that he shared with Kohli helped RCB, get along in that particular innings the way it did, and allowed some of the others to come in and do the job and finish the game. So in the context of the match, I think what he did in yesterday's game was very crucial.
And one more thing I just want to add with Raman is beating CSK. You might beat him the last ball or 2 overs to spare, whatever it is. Just see Kings 11 beat Chennai on the first game of IPL, where they are. Beating CSK gives you such a great advantage, plus the confidence. You might see different RCB after this game. You coming and beating the Chennai Super King with such a big team, you can say, and the captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni around. I think so. You will see different RCB now.
Okay, Anand, do you subscribe to that view? A different RCB, perhaps Gayle is saving his best for the last.
Also, the fact, I think Raman made a very interesting point in that RCB have made it to the Final 4 even without Gayle performing. That's the way they'll be looking at it. They'll be looking at it as he's one of their big players. He hasn't delivered a game for them single-handedly yet. Maybe now's the time he'll do that. They are very precariously poised, but if he can do what we know he's capable of and take 2 games away from the opposition, then RCB will be in a very good position. That's how they'll be looking at it. There's no point looking back and saying, what has Gayle done, what has Gayle not done. That's for us to do. But from the team's point of view, they will be thinking, they'll be hoping, okay, we've gotten this far without him, maybe 1 or 2 big performances, and that's exactly the push we need going into the Final 4.
Yeah, absolutely. I just recorrect what I said earlier. I think it's KKR who are in 4th spot and RCB below them.
Below them, yeah.
But the fact is, so they probably 5 with Sunrisers and the other teams to follow. Yeah. But at this point, 3 more games to go. You can expect some big match action from them. Having beaten CSK, as Chetan said, this could be the turnaround for them. Like for KKR, a couple of shows ago, we were saying, where are KKR?
Yeah.
And right now they're in the top 4. They're in the 4th spot. So for all you know, this just might turn around very quickly.
Okay, let's have a look at the graphic and see exactly what happened in the game CSK versus RCB. That is the impactometer from Wisden. Bowling, I think bowling is played. Although Suresh Raina has been the highest impact player, he ended up on the losing side. I think it's perhaps because of the bowling. You see, R. Ashwin still scores 4, and highest economy, R. Ashwin again.
I think what has happened here, as far as you look at the impact players, why you've got such a high impact for Suresh Raina, he handled the spinners very well,
Yeah.
made sure that on a pitch that was tailor-made for the spinners, he kept that innings going for the CSK side once the 2 openers had fallen, with Smith and McCullum, after that stand that they had when they fell. I think Raina was the guy who kept the innings going.
Children's spinners, I mean, we've seen the role of spinners almost becoming irrelevant as far as, IPL is concerned. But a couple of games like this and, you still feel that, yeah, they can make the difference.
No, they can make a difference. The sort of wickets we are getting actually in India, because when the first half of the tournament was played in UAE, it was difficult. It was like very difficult for spinners as well as for batsmen. It was moving around. Now, as soon as the IPL is back in India, I think so. It's merry for especially for the spinners. If you're going to get wickets like this, they're going to make impact. And surprising, like we were talking about RCB, we have good spinners. Like you talk about Sunrisers Hyderabad. They're not able to put much impact because they got one of the best spinners. And spinners are definitely going to play a part in the later stages. Now the matches left, because the wickets are not going to improve. Wickets are going to go bad, and not because of the heat. Because you can't blame any curators for this. But every day, if you're playing a match and plus with this heat, to hold on to a wicket, either you give a green top, which no captain will love to see a green top on a wicket. They want a flattish sort of a wicket, flatty sort of a wicket. Might be, spinners will come in the part, and like you win the toss, decide to bat first and put the team under pressure, because the spinners are going to play a lot of important roles in it.
Okay, Anand, the sort of pitches now to expect in India as far as the IPL is concerned. I mean, are we going to see, a bigger role for the spinners?
I'm in fact very surprised that we haven't seen a bigger role already. I mean, a team like Sunrisers Hyderabad, they've got Amit Mishra, they've got Karan Sharma bowling so beautifully, and still their home games, they've not been able to make use of that advantage of having the kind of turning tracks. We saw what Rajasthan did last year so successfully, having certain kind of conditions that suit their team very well. We've seen Chennai do that in the past. We've seen Calcutta do that in the past when Sunil Narine has been so successful. I think I'm surprised that there aren't more spin-friendly wickets, given the kind of strong spinners, strong Indian spinners that are in this competition. We saw how different a bowler Ashwin was when there was something in the surface for him.
Yeah.
I mean, batsmen have been pretty much lining him up and targeting him, guys like Glenn Maxwell, because there's not been much in the surfaces. It's a bit harder to do that. You can't commit so early and play your big shots when there is something happening to the spinners. So I think, like Chetupaji said, there's definitely going to be more impact from the spinners as we go deeper into this tournament.
Okay, I mean, sir, coming back to India, at least, now spinners will get less nightmares. I mean, the likes of Maxwell and Smith have totally, put them out of action.
Well, yeah, what a tournament for Maxwell. How can you go and play a reverse switch or switch it to a fast bowler bowling 140 kilometers an hour? I just want to know. And this is Anand was just talking about Amit Mishra and Karan Sharma. I was with Waqar Yunus on the commentary panel, and he was a bowling coach for Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying. The wicket, this year wicket and last year wicket is totally different. I think so. That's actually causing a lot of problem for Sunrisers Hyderabad. They have changed the soil, and I don't know why they have to change it just before the IPL season starts. Other curators are in favor of their team or they're against their team. These are a couple of things which actually come in play, and with such a great bowling lineup, and to bowl to Maxwell, I don't think so. At the present you need any wicket. You just need he make a mistake, get out. What sort of wicket he will do? Either play a switch shot, he will play a reverse sweep from the first ball to a spinner. I don't know what sort of a form he is in. I haven't seen a player like this in such a great form.
Oh yeah, Raman, I mean, as far as Sunrisers Hyderabad are concerned, you know, you've been consistently saying that there is a science to selecting teams and going about it. I mean, are they getting it wrong? Are the basics correct, or you know, is this bad luck?
Let's break it down into 2 or 3 factors here. First and foremost, Paji, I think the reason why they changed the pitches and relayed the pitches just before IPL was because I think that with such a hectic domestic season that was on, the Ranji Trophy matches on, and you know, cricket being played around the year, they only got the break after the 2020s got over, and that's why the pitches got relayed. Unfortunately, it was just before IPL, so probably you know, Sunrisers got the rough end of the stick. Talking about the team per se, the latest, Darren Sammy being named captain.
Yeah.
A player who's not been consistently in the playing 11 across the board, finds his way into the side and as captain. So I think teams are still struggling. When I say teams, I mean team managements are still struggling with choosing a foreign player as captain or not. I think Rajasthan Royals that way made it very clear before the start of season that Watson is the man for the moment. He will captain irrespective of what happens, and whether it's, you know, batting form
Yeah,
or
plus
not.
he's been with the side for a long time. He understands
So
the
he
Indian
understands
conditions.
the conditions. I think some of the teams needed to take a call on it. If you've chosen Shikhar Dhawan as captain, then let him continue. Why change him as captain now because he's not getting runs? Is there something more to it that the team management is seeing? You say, I want to lift pressure off him as a batsman. Then you know, this was the call they could have taken a whole lot.
Raman, it's a panic button.
Yeah, it's a panic button.
It's a panic button. And they always say captain leads from the front. Your captain not getting runs on the top. And was Sunrisers, if Shikhar Dhawan, who is the main batsman for any team he plays for, not getting runs, plus as a captain, what sort? And he is not a very experienced captain. Take it that way. You know, he's not an experienced captain. Plus, he's not getting runs. You know,
Double whammy.
Yeah, it's 1 plus 1, and it's putting a lot of pressure on Shikhar Dhawan. I think so. That is a problem. Must be in the dressing room,
So
and the panic button has been pressed.
So you got Sammy on.
Okay, coming to you, Anand. I mean, how far do you agree with the change in captaincy? You know, I mean, for the Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Well, I think if they're taking a call on changing the captain, obviously even the captain doesn't have as much say as somebody else in the management, because I'm sure the captain is not the kind of person, Shikhar Dhawan, not the kind of guy who says I'm going to step down in favor of that and Sammy, because as has already been pointed out, Sammy has hardly been regular to the team, and even when he has been in the side, he's not been able to do what he was able to do in the World T20. Where he would come in with a handful of balls at the end and then hit maybe 20 of 10 or 12 balls and have a very huge impact in a very short span of time. His bowling also is not what it used to be. Batsmen are able to take on those cutters and slower balls that he's bowling. So I'm not sure in what way this is going to help the Sunrisers. I think especially when your captain is down, the management should back him. It's not as though this is a test match where the whole aspect of captaincy is draining the player and he has so much on his mind in terms of selection and strategy and on-field decision making. In 3 hours the game is over, so I think if they were trying to relieve his burden, I don't think this is the right decision.
I think
they've got the best. They've got one of the best bowling attacks in the IPL. Make no bones about it. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar at one end, Dale Steyn at the other. You've got the 2 spinners. I'd say Amit Mishra, and I talked about him in one of the earlier episodes about what I think is going wrong with his bowling. But yeah, they've got him. They've got Karan Sharma, who's the underrated player for me, but he does his job beautifully in the given conditions. Their bowling's good. The question for me is, why aren't they making David Warner open?
Yeah,
he is going to be a much more impactful player right at the top of the order. Pushing him down at 4 because you don't have somebody else who can bat there and control the innings. I think you're letting some of the advantage slip away.
And even Chetan, the fielding. I mean, we saw both captain and ex-captain leaving a catch. Pehle aap.
Hyderabadi style, you know. Pehle aap. And the most important thing is, I think so. The mentor sitting out, you know, we take it a little away from the ground now. Krishnamacharya Shrikant is there, VVS Lakshman is there. And this is what Anand was saying, who's making the calls? I can bet you Chika is making the calls.
Chetan's played a lot under him as captain.
My captain, beautiful man. There is no doubt about it. When it comes to the team selection and the mentorship, I think so. Lakshman might not be having any say. Whatever the say is, it's only and only Chika is there, and he's controlling the show. And at the present, you talked about Warner, and how can you telling Chetan Sharma to come and bowl at number 6? Or you're telling Chetan Sharma to go and open the innings. How can Warner?
Come on, Chetan, you batted at 3 and got 100. No. So don't underrate your batting.
On turning tracks, what's the use of Warner batting number 4? What he has to do, come and do with the new ball, first 6 overs play off, first 6 overs, if he can make a use of it, might be the spinners on the first ball, but spinners won't be that effective with the new ball, then they will be effective with the old ball. I think so they're wasting Warner, and who's calling the shots? Yes.
Okay, Anand, as far as Warner is concerned, I mean, it's really been a mystery. I mean, can you solve this mystery for us?
I think it's a question of team composition. Warner is having to bat at number 4 because others are not doing so well. Instead of playing Warner where he will be most effective, I think the Sunrisers have pushed him down because after the early runs from Aaron Finch, we haven't seen Finch play a kind of long innings, even batting 7-10 overs. Shikhar Dhawan's got starts and not kicked on. So I think to cover up for all the other problems in the side, Warner has been moved down to number 4, and I think that's not the right approach. In this game, as it is, it's only 20 overs. If you're not going to give your most explosive batsman the best chance of playing the maximum number of overs, I think you're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
Okay, we have another caller on Skype, Vinayak, who joins us. Vinayak, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, Vinayak, what is your take as far as David Warner batting at number 4 is concerned?
I just want to make 2 points. One, that David Warner should be brought up in the order because he's the most explosive batsman that Hyderabad has right now. And the second thing is like Dale Steyn, he was taken in the team to get some wickets. He has not been able to deliver, I guess. Like 140 and 150 is a good score to defend for when you have bowler like Dale Steyn in your team, but he is not picking up the wickets. So the Hyderabad that had a very good start in this tournament, if Mumbai beat Rajasthan Royals in the match that is there today, they'll certainly they'll find their fortunes in doldrums suddenly, because Mumbai will move up to 8 points and Hyderabad is also there with 8 points. So I don't know, there will be more pressure on Dale Steyn and on all others.
Chetan sir, I mean, after that one amazing, spell from Dale Steyn, is there more truth to what Vinayak is saying? Do you agree with him?
There's a lot of pressure. Dale Steyn is not looking like a Dale Steyn. I always used to call him Steyn gun. With the Steyn gun, he's running at the batsman. And now I think the batsmen are running for him. Every game you pick up on a crucial time, he's not getting wickets from the top. He's not able to bowl and the Yorkers, what we know about Dale Steyn, he's actually hardly bowls too many Yorkers, but with that speed. And the worst part is, because what I noticed on the commentary stint recently, he's bowling with the cross seam. Yeah. Dale Steyn bowling with the cross seam. And with we call him 150 kilometers an hour and the best mover of the world, like of the ball, the best bowler in the world. And if he is bowling with a cross seam, you only bowl with a cross seam as a fast bowler, I can tell you, when you are not confident of your swing. You are not confident of your line.
Controlling it.
This gives us an answer why he is bowling with a cross seam. Bhuvneshwar Kumar from the other end is looking 1,000 times better with his seam movement, and with 134, he is troubling the batsman more than Dale Steyn is troubling at the present.
That's a very interesting point, Raman. I mean, cross seam.
Bowler, as Chetan said, I mean, there's no better person on this panel to talk about it than Chetan himself. But there's another thing about Dale Steyn. What has happened is, you look back at that over where A.B. de Villiers took him to the cleaners.
Yes.
And that was an over where Dale Steyn tried a whole lot of variations. He'd bowled an over before that which was express pace. And people weren't able to score of him. The moment I can understand a fast bowler, talking about it purely from a commentator's point of view. I can understand a fast bowler like Malinga or Dale Steyn who can bowl 140, 150 bringing about a change of pace, because then that's an actual change of pace of 25-30 kilometers per hour, dropping it from 150 to 120 and foxing a batsman. But if you're going to do a change of pace 5 out of 6 deliveries in the death overs, the back end, when the batsman anyway has the license to thrill and use the long handle, I think you're locking up, as Chetan said, the Sten gun. You're locking it up in the dressing room.
It's become a pistol.
Yeah, and coming out like Pistol Pete.
And the magazine has got jammed. Okay, we'll have a look at the graphic of the impactometer as far as the game between Sunrisers Hyderabad and Kolkata Knight Riders was concerned. There it is. Yusuf Pathan is the highest impact player, but if you compare it to the impactometer of the previous game, I think we saw Suresh Raina scoring a 7. Here it's at 4.98. David Warner is there, 3.55. Yusuf Pathan, David Warner again, highest strike rate, impact performance. So,
highest pressure impact performance, that's what catches my eye. Robin Uthappa and Manish Pandey. And I think what happened in that particular match was Uthappa was dropped. And that dropped catch went on to cost Sunrisers Hyderabad. I think if they'd got Uthappa then early, Uthappa's been one of those batsmen who's really revitalized the KKR batting unit. If you remember, they were struggling initially. Callis might be getting runs when he opened with Gambhir. But the moment they've got Uthappa up there, suddenly there seems to be an urgency, Chetan. I'm sure you'll agree with me. In the KKR batting, they look a lot more aggressive at the top. And that's the difference that Uthappa's wicket might have made had they got him early.
Yes, because he's in good form. I met him recently also, and he's looking very confident. And this is what we were talking about. And he said he like the last IPL matches, last year I'm talking about, he was a little under pressure. But this time I think so he has made his mind. He's going to go and play his normal cricket, and that's giving a lot of advantage to KKR. Because if he's taking the pressure, because Gautam initially was very struggling a bit, he's come back in form. If you're 3 batsmen, we're talking about Gautam Gambhir, Robin Uthappa and Manish Pandey, one of 3, if scores runs, I think so that relieves the pressure from KKR.
okay, Anand, as far as Uthappa is concerned, I mean, we've seen a dramatic change. I mean, from what I recall earlier, he only had one shot. He would take 2-3 steps out of the crease and hit the ball. And it didn't do that well. So, I mean, how do you see him as a, reformed player?
Well, I think he's put a lot of work into his game during the Ranji Trophy season. He had an excellent Ranji season as well, where he came up the order to open the innings for Karnataka. And when you refine your game to such an extent that you're able to play different roles in different formats and against different bowlers, then you give yourself that confidence that if necessary, I can go back to my old job, which is power hitting. He still has those shots. It's not that he's given those away. You see even now that if the bowler's tying him down a bit and he needs to release some pressure, he's got that shot over mid-wicket. He's got the strength to play that shot. But he's not relying only on that now. Now he's trying to build an innings and use that power more judiciously. And I think the manner in which he's come about in this last season, it won't be long before he's putting some pressure on the others in terms of a place in the Indian one-day side or T20 side as well.
Exactly.
No, absolutely right, Anand. I do agree, because he was the highest run getter in my Ranji Trophy in Karnataka, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And the way he is playing, and this is what I told you before, that I met him recently. He is sounding confident. Robin Uthappa, I met him 2 years back, and meeting him this year. In between, as soon as the tournament has been shifted from UAE, and he's sounding very, very confident.
Just like almost like Dinesh Karthik a few seasons ago.
But you've got to realize, I'll draw the Dinesh Karthik parallel in just a bit, Sanjeev. But what I'll say about Uthappa, I think he's been a little unlucky on the international arena. When he was in prime form, he wasn't allowed to open for India. He was picked. He came in only as the bits, and I'd call him the Stepney player. Because if Tendulkar was injured, he stepped up to the role. And I'm talking about, 2006-07 and that period. Yeah. So he stepped up to the plate at that time. Sehwag not there, he stepped up. Ganguly not there, he stepped up. Because that was the troika who were opening the batting for India at that time. Tendulkar, Sehwag and Ganguly. Between them were the choices. So he used to step up to the plate when any one or two of them were injured. and I think Anand will agree with me on this, he tried to retain his place in the side by coming in as the finisher at number 7. And he's batted, batted at number 6 and number 7 for India as well. So you've pulled a player out of his familiar space. He's had to adapt his batting style, as Anand was saying just a little while ago, to suit different batting positions in his international career as well. So he's got that experience. Till a couple of years ago, he was playing for the, a few years ago, he was playing for the Mumbai Indians also for a bit. And I remember Sachin speaking very highly about the batting capabilities of Robin Uthappa. And he's one of the very few players you'll find. You talked about the kind of shot that he can play, walk down and take those steps down. To a fast bowler, I think Chetan will agree with me when I say this, bowling at a 140, you can still have the courage to walk down the pitch, and his head remains so very still when he takes them on. That's what allows him to pull off those shots. I think that's a very rare quality.
This is the best time for Robin Uthappa. Now he's getting runs, selectors are watching all the games, and India is struggling in the opening slot. There's no doubt about it. Like if you talk about the openers, everybody's struggling except Rohit Sharma. As soon as this is what we were talking in IPL. Everybody becomes a captain, push themselves at number 4. Rohit Sharma batting for India, pushed him at number 4 because of the need of the hour. There is no need of the hour where you belong to. Is Rohit Sharma is going to come and bat number 4 for India? No. Because there is no place. Like you have to. Now Robin Uthappa, the management decided he go and open the innings, go and strike the ball, and he got runs. He's proved everybody, and this is the right time because the slots are empty and he can make on it.
One question to you, Chetan sir. I mean, how should a team go about their strategy? Do they play to their advantage, or do they try to cover up their disadvantages?
You cannot cover up a disadvantage, or you cannot play on anybody's strength. We have seen in IPL couple of matches, even Rajasthan has done it. So many teams playing against Kings 11 played on their strength. They can chase well. We are not going to let them chase. No, if wicket suits, my strength is batting. If I go and bat, get 160 runs or 180 runs on board, why can't I get Kings 11 out? Like this is the scenario at the present. Like people are trying to play on others' strength than playing on your strength. In cricket, they always say you have to play on your strength, otherwise you will left with no strength at all.
Okay, I'll go to Anand quickly. Anand, just last few words. We're about to wrap up the conversation. I mean, would you go by playing to the strengths or covering up the weaknesses?
I think, as Chetan Paji said, there is no way you can cover up your weakness. If there is a weakness, you know about it, and the opposition also knows about it. There are very few secrets in cricket these days.
Absolutely.
There's no point trying to hide your weakness. Rather, you play to your strength, and who knows, that may put you in a position where the opposition can't exploit your weakness. But you're best off playing to your strengths. This is exactly what's happening to Hyderabad. We were talking about earlier, moving a strong player around to cover up some other weaknesses. In the long run, it doesn't work. You have to back your strengths, and if you do well enough in enough number of games, you'll make it to the final 4.
Okay, thanks so much, Anand, for joining us. It was great to have you on the conversation. I'll move to Vinayak. Vinayak, quickly, we have Chetan sir with us. Do you want to ask him any question? Do you want any tips?
I just have one question. Like, you haven't mentioned Piyush Chawla. He was the guy who was there with Kings 11 and he never performed. And now he has come to Kolkata Knight Riders and he's clicking, and you are not talking about him. And he is the guy who conceded 32 runs against Elviro Peterson when their team required just 36 runs. And now he's bowling well and he's performing consistently against Kings 11 and against all other teams.
Okay.
No, I do agree. If I have to talk about spinners, I will if I don't talk about Amit Mishra or Karan Sharma or we're talking about Piyush Chawla, why not? If we have to talk about the wrist spinners, why don't talk about Lada? I think so. He's bowled the best. Like he bowled all of them, Amit Mishra, Piyush Chawla have an international background and they are confident. They have established themselves. But this young lad never got a chance, on the bench for so many years, came and bowled superbly well. If I would have been a part of the selection committee, I would have, gone and given a pat on his back and say, get ready.
And Chetupa, if you look back, say old wine, but in a new bottle, Praveen Tambe. He's fantastic.
Okay, Tambe can't be like...
India material.
India.
That's why I said old wine in a new bottle, but yeah, he's also done fantastic.
This is what I have to say is, like Tambe, we are talking about Karan Sharma, we are talking about Lada, no international experience, have come and done so well. If with a chance Piyush Chawla has done well, he's done well for himself, not for anybody, you know. And in the sense, he should have done far better on the wickets like this, which three guys, just told you about the three guys, they have done far better than Amit Mishra and Piyush Chawla.
Okay, Vinayak, thanks so much for joining us. Quickly, I mean, Raman, your take on who do you expect as the fourth team to make it?
Well, right now I think KKR are very resurgent. They're in the top 4 and I would fancy them to hold on to the momentum that they've got. I just hope, you know, that there isn't a slip up from Rajasthan Royals, because they started very strong in the season and they've had a couple of reversals in the recent past. So I'd be hoping that there's no major, you know, slip up from their end, because there are teams now looking to fight back, and RCB will be one of them.
Chetan,
my favorite is RCB from day one.
So is mine.
You believe me, you know, before Virat would have gone, and his coach and myself, we were together, and I told Virat, I think you're going to win this time. This sort of team they have.
Paji, you need to bowl for them, because they don't have the bowling. That's the problem.
But still, you know, my favorite, day one I thought RCB will be the favorites, and I'm hoping that they qualify in first 4 and play the playoffs, and rest is up to them.
Okay, thank you so much, Chetan sir, for joining us, and Raman, as usual. Thanks so much for joining us. So there you have it. That's the end of our conversation. You can also, you know, participate and join in the fun conversations that we have by logging on to indiapostlive.com, or you can send us a tweet. Our Twitter handle is @IndiaPostLive. You can also send us your comments with the hashtag IndiaPostLive. Conversations will continue on India Post Live. Thanks so much for watching.